It always feels a little bit clunky and chaotic trying to get back into your rhythm after taking some time off. But here we are, starting fresh, planning everything out. I'm going to show you guys how I ease back into things and how I plan everything in a realistic way for the season that we're currently in. Welcome back, friends. If you're new here, my name is Michelle and I am a homeschooling mama to 4 kiddos ages 13 all the way down to 8 months, and we are entering our 4th year of homeschooling. So we originally started off with a boxed off curriculum using mainly the good and the beautiful for the majority of our subjects. But as the years went on and I started to dip my toes in different areas, seeing what worked best for my family and my kids, we decided to make the switch over to a fully Charlotte Mason style curriculum, and we chose to go with Ambleside Online. We started term 1 back in May, and my initial plan was for us to just continue schooling throughout the summer, but life happens and we decided to take some time off, put a pause on our learning for the sake of my mental health and my kids too. So we ended up taking about a month off, and we are ready to get back into it, jump into our rhythm. We eased into it a little bit last week, doing mainly our family subjects, but this week is when we are really jumping back into the curriculum, minus math, because I am still undecided on what I want to use for my older 2 kiddos. My little guy is still going to be using his good and the beautiful math, but I haven't decided what I'm going to be using for my older 2. So we're still holding off on math until I get my life together and decide that. But other than that, we are jumping in. My kids are doing years 4, 5, and 6 of Ambleside Online. So I'm going to take you guys along with me, show you how I plan out our week, especially when you just came back from taking a break, and how we ease into things. So I am using our Rooted and Thriving Planner. I am going to flip the camera over to show you guys what I do, how I lay it all out. So whenever we are planning our week out, the first thing that I always do is I pull up their Ambleside Online schedule for all of their readings. So like I said, my kids are doing year 4, year 5, and year 6, and we are jumping into week 5. Now this is an edited version. I did remove some readings and added in some substitutions as I saw fit according to where my child was at. We also do a lot of the readings family style. We do our Bibles together, we do our hymns, we do our geography. So some of those things are not going to be on this list. So if you're looking into Ambleside Online and you notice that maybe my year 6 list is pretty short compared to what they have on their website, that is why. So this is the first thing that I do. I pull this up, and then since it's the start of the month, I usually go into my planner, and on my brain dump page, I will write out all of the readings that are required for the whole month. So this is everything that my daughter and my sons are going to need to read for the whole entire month. And the reason why I do that is that this is essentially my pre-reading list. So I'm able to see everything that I need to read for the month. And I do get the question a lot is, how do you manage to read all of those books on time? And the answer to that is I don't. I have it on here just so that I can get that visual. For Aiden, he is my year 4. The majority of these readings we do together. So I just have it on here so that I can get the bigger picture, but these we will do together. There are a few, like This Country of Ours. He's been reading that independently, so I will pre-read that. And then for my older 2, Sometimes I don't get to all of the readings, but there are some that if you go to Ambleside's online website, they will give you a little heads up like, hey, you need to pre-read this before your kid reads it. And I am so grateful for that. So I do have a star for one that I know for a fact that if I don't get to anything else, at least this one needs to be pre-read. So I will go in and mark off which ones are my non-negotiable that I definitely need to pre-read. But yes, this is the first thing I do. I pull their schedule up and then I write out everything that they're gonna need to read for that month. So once I have all the monthly readings down for myself, I start working on their individual weekly schedule. And I am all about working smarter, not harder, trying to find ways to streamline our learning to where they're able to do things independently without needing to come to me to ask me, what am I reading now? What's next? And they kind of just know what to do. So I created a weekly schedule for them to have all of their readings in one spot. So I like to use a 4-day schedule, and then we use our 5th day as our catch-up day or our day to do some type of outdoor activity, especially now during the summer. So what I'll do is I go back to their schedule with all of their readings. It looks a little bit intimidating and it looks like it's a lot when you're seeing everything lumped in together. But this is for a whole entire week. So when you break them up by day, it turns out to be 2 or 3 readings per day, which I think is more than doable for them. So for example, for today, he had to do This Country of Ours, chapter 33. And when I'm planning it out, I also like to go into the book and kind of take a peek at how many pages is in that chapter, because sometimes they do give you a chapter that's pretty long, and in that case I will break it up into 2 days for him. But for this week, everything kind of worked out where the chapters are pretty manageable, and this is for my year 4. So for him, we are doing most of these together, but I did the same for my year 5 and my year 6. So I will just go right down the line, just crossing out each one day by day, and then after I get to day 4, I'll start over and put the next book on there. So we don't really do anything lumped together, like Mondays is all history, Tuesday is all science. I don't really do it that way. I kind of just go straight down the list and put them in where I see fit. They also have their daily work here at the top, which is always the same. Again, we're not doing math just yet. They have their writing and grammar, their summary, and their 20 minutes of Spanish daily. So now let's get to actually planning it all out into our planner. So I like to put my days up at the top, have a note section here at the end, and then on the side, I have our morning time at the top, our history, which I will put all of the kids' history in the same box, and I will just color coordinate it to be able to differentiate what reading belongs to who. We have science, geography, I lumped those 2 together, literature, and then our riches down here. So I'm all about trying to work smarter, not harder. So I always do their schedule first on here. That way I can just pull this and just quickly fill in my boxes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about what we're doing for our morning time. So here it is all filled out. So what I do again is I take their weekly schedule and I just plug it into my planner, and I'm able to fit all 3 of their readings in here just fine. What I do is I color coordinate their little checkbox on here. My middle guy, his is blue, My little one is green, and then my daughter is in pink. And like I said, I don't go by days, so I don't assign all of their history on a Monday and then we do science on a Tuesday. Everything is kind of mixed in there. So one day, so like for example, on Monday, my daughter was the only one that was doing science today, and then her brother is doing science tomorrow. And that's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what we're working on for our morning time in just a bit. But what we do every day, we always start with our Bible and our hymn, and we are focusing on their grammar and their writing for the summer. Again, we are just easing into things, so I am not trying to pile too many things on top of their readings. We are slowly adding things in. So right now we're only doing their fix-it grammar and phonics. We do this together as a family. And then on our 5th day, which is usually our Thursday when we go out, we're gonna be working on our all things fun and fascinating. So that's gonna be their writing. And then our riches, we have our poems and Shakespeare. And on Friday, we might, if we get to it, I would like for us to work on an art project. But that's about it. We know where we are in the season that we're in. And I know that if I overschedule us, we will not get to it and I will just feel so overwhelmed. So right now we are trying to keep things pretty simple as we try to get back into our rhythm. And what I love about this planner is that I'm also able to schedule and plan out my life on here too. So that has been so helpful in just trying to keep everything organized and running as smoothly as it can. So I'm gonna flip you guys over and show you guys exactly what it is that we have been doing for our morning time. So I like to use our morning time as our way to set the tone for our day, to kind of get us centered and in a good mood and get us ready to go into the learning mindset. So I usually play our hymn for the day while my kids are having their breakfast. If I wait for them to finish eating and cleaning up and going through their chores, we would never get through anything. So we usually just go ahead and start our day while they're having their breakfast. And we always start with our hymn and our Bible. Now I know that Ambleside Online has their own schedule for hymns and their Bible, but we like to do them a little bit differently. I have been using the hymns volume 1 and 2 from the Daily Grace Co. We finished the first one and we are now on the second one, and we have really been enjoying this. So that is what we use for our hymns. And then for our Bible time, we have been using the Family Bible Library from Southwestern Advantage. This is a full set that we bought when we first moved here. A salesperson was selling them, knocked on the door, and we purchased their whole entire Bible curriculum. And so far, we have been loving it and enjoying it so much. I did a little flip through in another video, so I will link that in the description if you're curious to see what this looks like in the inside. But it is amazing. I love it, and I highly recommend if you're looking for a Bible curriculum. So that is what we do while my kids are having their breakfast. I also have our Fix-It grammar sentence on our chalkboard that's right on top of our kitchen table, so that once they're done eating, they can work on the sentence from our Fix-It grammar. We do this as a family. It's super quick. It only takes us about 5 minutes to get through it, and it also makes it more interactive because it's up on the board, and I have different color chalks for them to grab and jot down any of the corrections that they have to make on there. And I also have these little grammar cards that we use to kind of help them if they're stuck on something. I was using poster boards to write down our parts of speech, but we normally do our schooling in the kitchen and it was taking up a lot of space. So I got this from Teachers Pay Teachers and it has been a lifesaver. We are also trying something new for our spelling. Originally, I went with BJU Press for spelling. And again, I like to do it family style. So I went with their level 5 for us to do together. And I wasn't loving it as much as I thought I would. So we made a switch and we are trying out Phonetic Zoo from IEW. I did a lot of research and I heard a lot of good things about this curriculum, especially for kids with dyslexia. And so far, I've really been enjoying it. I did get the budget-friendly version, which doesn't come with the audio, but that's okay because I've been doing it with them. I've just been reading the list out loud myself and they write it down and we do it I read it to them once with a sentence and then they go over the list again and I read it to them again, spelling the word out. And it works out pretty good. It doesn't take much time even with me reading it. So we'll see how that goes, but this is also part of our morning time. And 2 more things that we do add in our riches, but we don't do both of them every day. So far, we're just doing our Shakespeare, poem, and art when we can fit it in. Again, easing into it. If you are just coming back from a break, I highly recommend that you do the same. Don't try to overload yourself just because you think you need to get through X, Y, and Z. Start slow, add in what you can, and then as you guys start getting back into your rhythm, you can start putting those things back in there. But for now, we're just doing our Shakespeare and poems. For Shakespeare, we are still working through Macbeth. We have read 2 kid-friendly illustrated versions, which I thought was so helpful in getting my kids comfortable with the story before we jumped into the actual play. And I went with the No Fear Shakespeare Macbeth because it has both the original play and then on the side it has the updated version with a much more understandable language than the original. So my plan is that we are going to start off with the original version. I'm gonna see if my kids will humor me and act it out with me. And if there's things that they don't understand, we can just look over on the side to the updated version. And I also printed off a character map for Macbeth that I got off of the Ambleside Facebook group for free. So if you are using Ambleside Online, I highly recommend that you join their Facebook group. There's so many free resources on there that you definitely don't want to miss out on. So many hardworking families have worked on these goodies and they're on there for free for you. So I highly recommend that if you are not part of their Facebook group, you definitely want to join. And the last thing is our poem. So I got this poem book. It's very old and it's coming apart. I got it at a sale at the library and it is called Poems That Touch the Heart. So we have been using this for our poems in the morning. I just open up a random poem. Some of the poems have a little background information to go along with it about the author, and we've really been enjoying this a lot, and it gives them exposure to different artists. So that's another thing that we're doing a little bit different than what Ambleside Online has. I know that they do a specific author for each term, I believe, and we were doing that. We were doing Emily Dickinson, but I wanted to change things up a little bit and I found this wonderful book, so we have been using it and tying it into our morning time. and we've all really been enjoying that so far. So that is what I have planned for us for this week as we try to jump back into a somewhat normal rhythm. I know that things might not go as planned, and that's okay. That's the whole beauty about homeschooling, is being able to be flexible, adjusting where you need to in the season that you are in. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I plan some of these things out. If you have not done so already, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps grow my channel and it helps us to stay connected. And don't forget to hit the little notification button so that you are notified whenever a new video comes out. Again, thank you so much for watching, friends, and until next time, bye everyone.